reason to believe that we could have silver prices beyond our wildest imagination. But then there's a lot more, because the biggest names, the gurus of the financial world, people like Morgan Stanley, excuse me, people like Ray Dalio, the hedge fund king, people like, it's too much for me to remember. Jeffrey Gundlach, the bond king, even our very own Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. These guys are all saying things about precious metals that really, it's almost unbelievable to think that right now we would be hearing this 2 years ago. If you had told us, we just wouldn't believe it. So we're going to dig in first, and we're going to talk about silver, and I'm going to show you this chart that I think is just, it's too good to be true. But what's really too good to be true is that you decided to join me down here in the basement. Hey, look, the reality is this is just a cold, dark basement without you being here. You are important. You are the apple of your mama's eye. I want you to feel like you found a home away from home down here in the basement. You're welcome here anytime. Please subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. We got a lot to cover. Let's get started right now. We're going to go out first and take a look at this when it comes to silver. This came from Metals and Miners. The Great Rotation. Why silver is the most compelling investment of the decade. Guys, this is not the chart, excuse me, that I talked about earlier, but this one bears looking at. It came from Tavi Costa. We actually looked at this a few days back. This is silver to the S&P 500 ratio. As you can see over here, we are very, very low right now on that chart, okay? We've been as high as up here back in 2011 timeframe. If we get back up here, again, in the silver to S&P 500 ratio, at current levels, we would be at silver price north of $150. Yes, you heard that correct, $150. Now, let's go down a little bit deeper, because there's a chart that I'm going to give you the reasons why we can be super excited. But let's just read through this story why silver is, like, according to them, like one of the greatest investment opportunities we could be sitting in right now. For years, investors were conditioned to believe that stocks and bonds are the only game in town, but the rules are changing. The era of easy money and financial engineering is coming to an end, and in its place, a new era of sound money and real value is dawning. This is the story of the Great Rotation, and it's the reason why silver is not just an investment, but a lifeline in the years to come. So then they talk about chronic underinvestment and explosive demand, okay? Look, we've talked about this 15 years. The silver market has been the story of chronic underinvestment. The result is a structural supply deficit, okay? Reaching critical breaking point. 5 years we've had a deficit in the silver market. Demand for silver has outstripped supply, with now the total over the last 5 years, that being somewhere between 800 million and 1 billion ounces. And there's the chart. There's a lot of different ways to look at it, but as you can see, over the last 5 years, the world has been consuming more silver than it's been bringing in. And before we go, that's not the chart I was talking about, so bear with me. But before we go there, I just want to remind you, here's a beautiful piece of silver from channel sponsor First Mint. That's their Folds of Honor 10-ounce flag. You can check that out on their website. But what I want to remind you of is very important, very powerful, is this. Grab a piece of your silver, hold it in your hand, and know that today there is less of this, less silver on the face of the planet than there was yesterday. That's been the case for the last 5 years. Tomorrow, there will be less physical silver on the face of the planet than there is today. That's powerful. That's a dwindling supply. But let's go take a look at that chart that I promised you. And here it is right here. Right? And there's 3 reasons why we can get super excited about this. This shows silver demand continues to outpace supply growth. So all these shaded color areas represent one of the components of demand. The red line represents silver mine production. And remember, that peaked back here. Let me get my markers out. And we will use a color that will show up nicely. We will use yellow. So the red line represents silver mine output. We had pink. That's not showing up. Hold on here, guys. Let's get a better color. Let's try orange. There we go. Okay. There's peak silver right there in 2016. Okay. All these shaded areas represent areas of demand. The yellow line up here represents total silver that's being produced. That includes the mining and the recycling, grandma's silverware, that type of thing. As you can see, all this area up here over the last 5 years, the world has been demanding way more silver than the world has been producing. But that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is this. If we look down here, electronics, and then we look here, net physical investment, and we look here, jewelry. We know, okay, all three of these components are set to explode in the future. Okay, we know that demand for silver and electronics is going to go up and up and up. It gets even more interesting when you realize, look how small that area is compared to areas like this. Now, we know that net physical demand from retail investment for investment purposes is at a near all-time low. So this area is also primed to explode. It basically can't get any worse, or it would be much easier for investment demand for silver to go up than it would for it to go down. And the one that I've been harping on now for several months, jewelry demand. We had an article from the Wall Street Journal yesterday telling us that demand for silver jewelry is beginning to go up because of the price of gold, basically, and because of the reason that silver is just beautiful. So when we look at these three things, 1, 2, 3, all three of them have the huge opportunity to continue upward. I think that's the most powerful chart in the silver world right now. Of course, we're at $42, $43 silver, but what we want to see is silver reaching its really true price, which we know is closer to, let's say, something a little higher or a lot higher than where we are right now. That's the fact. Right? Silver has been manipulated down, down, down. Now, when we think about that chart that I just showed you, we focused on demand. Will the silver miners be able to suddenly supply all this? No. Like everybody knows, the silver mining, the silver development, the silver exploration sectors have been neglected for years. Only the very smartest people like Keith Neumeyer, the guy that runs Dolly Varden Silver, a handful of other people have been out there investing during the darkest of times in future silver mines. It's going to take a decade for the silver mining industry to catch up to that demand. Now, people that were smart and did position themselves are going to do very well. That includes people like you that bought physical silver when it was $15, $20, $25, even $30 per ounce. But let's talk about big names: Morgan Stanley, Jeffrey Gundlach, Ray Dalio, Scott Bessent. Everybody's saying stuff. I'm going to have to run through this quickly and because your time is valuable. But all the big names, the gurus, are saying big things about the precious metals. Let's start with Morgan Stanley. And hold on here. Make sure I got that one. Oh, here, real quickly. When it comes to silver, Katusa Research pointed out that silver mining companies now have higher profit margin than Netflix. They dig rocks out of the ground for $27 and sell them for $43. But their cost didn't change. The market just handed the big raise to them for doing the exact same job. The silver miners, right, the companies that hung in there are making big money. This chart shows the profit at $43 per ounce is what, about 16. If silver goes to 48, that'll go to 21. Okay, let's get to Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley, yes, that Morgan Stanley put this out last week, and it's making major waves. Basically, their CIO said that now the model portfolio, instead of being 60-40, which was always 60% stocks, 40% bonds, is now 60-20-20, meaning 60 stocks, 20% bonds, and 20% gold. Okay, so we're hearing that's Morgan Stanley, right? A big, huge, super respected mainstream investment. These are mainstream investment companies talking about precious metals. 4 years ago, 2 years ago, we couldn't even imagine. Hold on. Make sure we got you up there. Yes, we do. That would be the case. We are living in new times. But wait, there's more. Okay. Ray Dalio, the king of hedge funds, comes out with this. Oh, wait a minute. This is funny. I'm sorry, guys. There is so much going on in silver and gold. It's hard to keep up with this, but we need to laugh. Are you ready for a laugh? This came from our friend Make Gold Great Again on X. This is about Morgan Stanley. He said, clarifying, now that Morgan Stanley is recommending everyone have 20% of their portfolio in gold, a little late on that, but nonetheless, he's asking the question, is Morgan Stanley, are they now considered a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist? Or were we right all along, right? Remember when they used to call us tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists because we talked about gold and silver 2 years ago, 5 years ago? All right, let's move over to Ray Dalio. Two important things here. Number one, Ray Dalio is the king of hedge funds, and he's coming out saying that gold and non-fiat currencies will be the stronger stores of value as the U.S. debt mounts. We're just going to read these two paragraphs in green. Bridgewater, which is like the world's biggest hedge fund. Ray Dalio is a genius. He started it out of his apartment. Okay. He's super high respected. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He's very free with his knowledge. But he said Friday that gold and non-fiat currencies will become stronger stores of value as major currencies face devaluation risk amid mounting debt. In red, he says, we are going to see non-fiat currencies become more important stores of wealth and money. But also, he's urging investors to diversify their assets with around 10% of their portfolios in gold. So two important things here. Number one, there's Ray Dalio. You can see him down here. He's the hedge fund king. He's probably the smartest financial mind in the world right now. He's saying put 10% of your assets into gold. Okay, that's Ray saying that, not me. Don't forget, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving financial advice. However, the important thing also to look in the upper left-hand corner. This is from CNBC. This is coming to us from mainstream media, okay, which also then leads us into the next article, also interestingly from CNBC. And this is the bond king, okay, the king of bonds, Jeffrey Gundlach, another, okay, he's saying, okay, he believes holding a 25% gold position is not excessive. And there he is, again, on CNBC in yellow. This is crazy, guys. I think almost certainly gold will close above $4,000 before the end of this year. What happens to gold will be good for silver. And most people, I got to get the trucks out. I'll get them out here for you in a second. Most people are calling for a slingshot move in silver. Gundlach said that on CNBC's Closing Bell. His forecast represents a 7% upside from the current record level for the gold price. He says, I still think a 25%, it's hard to keep up with all this, guys, isn't it? Type weighting on gold is not excessive. I think that that is an insurance policy. It's in a winning mode because of the weaker dollar, and I believe that's going to continue. So wait a minute here. Let's look, and then we're going to see what Scott Bessent. No, then we got Jeffries. I got double bonus. Jeffries said, and they're saying a gold prediction that you're not going to believe. And then we're going to listen to the Treasury Secretary himself, Mr. Scott Bessent. But let's review. We got Jeffrey Gundlach, the bond king, 25% gold. We got Ray Dalio, the hedge fund king, 10% gold. And we have Morgan Stanley, 20% gold. And what's good for gold is good for silver. But now let's go see what Jeffries is saying, because Jeffries came out with some news about precious metals, which also is very interesting. And here we go. Okay, this came from the Economic Times of India, I believe it is, but a good synopsis. Gold price target of $6,600 $100 per ounce is now reasonable, says Jefferies' Chris Woods. Here's why. And you know what? I'm not going to read through all this with you guys. You know the reasons why. The dollar, the US dollar is unfortunately in real value headed in one direction. And that's because basically we all know how to use a calculator. And with $37.5 trillion in debt in our country right now, it's a very unfortunate reality that the real value of fiat paper money can only go in one direction. And we have an administration in Washington that has pretty much proven to us what they're interested in is the lowering in the value of the US dollar. The reality is this: when you get to a debt level like we have right now in the United States, there's only two things you can do. You can institute massive cost cutting, which they aren't going to do, or option two, which is the easier, softer way, which hundreds and hundreds of previous governments through thousands of years have chosen to do. You can print money. You can pay back the debt with currency that's printed that's worth a lot less. I don't like it. You don't like it. It's the reality of what's going on. That's why Jeffrey Gundlach, Ray Dalio, and who was the other one? Morgan Stanley, him or herself, or the company Morgan Stanley, are all telling us, get your assets into real things like gold and silver. Real estate might do well. Some people may argue crypto may do well as well. But that's what's happening. Now, what does it mean when the Treasury Secretary of the United States, Scott Bessent, has some crazy, interesting things to say about gold? Let's go watch this. I think it's like 45 seconds long. When you watch this, I want you to remember this is the Treasury Secretary of the United States of America. In this, I was shocked. I don't know when he said this. I want to preface it with that. I don't know if this was real recent, but it was sometime in the recent past. And let's get this. Let's get him on full screen. Presenting to you the Honorable Treasury Secretary. Hold on. Now I'm sharing it. Almost screwed that one up. Hold on, guys. I got to make sure. This is so important. I want to make sure. Yes, we do. Okay. And boom. And here we go. Without further ado.
Gold also has other applications, a lot of applications, jewelry in India, but it's something that historically people have all agreed on. And gold can't have a fiscal problem. Gold cannot have a gigantic budget deficit. Gold cannot have a war. So just the fact that it is this isolated thing makes it very interesting. And the fact that the entire global trading system, until Richard Nixon took us off, was tied to gold.
So you're not anti-gold?
Oh, no. When I had my fund, I think people might have called me a gold bug. Gold also has other applications, a lot of applications, jewelry
Okay,
in
so
India.
That was a while back, maybe even before he was quote unquote officially our Treasury Secretary. But did you listen to what he said? He is our Treasury Secretary right now. He said gold, and we'll say silver as well, can't have a fiscal problem. Gold can't run a budget deficit. Gold can't start a war. Gold up until 1971, when President Richard Nixon temporarily took us off the gold standard, gold was the basis for the world global trade system. Is he anti-gold? He said, no, absolutely not. He actually said that he was referred to as a gold bug at one point. I think that may have been a little bit older, maybe from 3, 4, maybe even 6 months ago, but who cares? He said it. That's our Treasury Secretary. Unbelievable, guys. Gold and silver. I mean, right? I'll say it one more time. They've been around for thousands of years. They've proven themselves, right? This silver right here, again, Folds of Honor 10-ounce bar. It comes from our channel sponsor, First Mint, right? That 10 ounces of silver was pretty much just as valuable 3,000 years ago as it is today. Silver can't start wars. Silver can't run a budget deficit. Has the same components as gold. And I do want to say thank you to First Mint for sponsoring the basement. Guys, they're owned by First Majestic Silver, Keith Neumeyer's massive silver mining company. First Mint is located in Las Vegas, Nevada. So First Majestic mines the silver in Mexico, ships it to Nevada, the United States, where it's transformed into world-class silver bullion products, and then it goes straight to you. Did you notice there's something missing there? Yeah, they missed something very important to us. The silver. All right, I'll ring the bell. Thank you. That was everybody.
Say hi to some people.
For those of you who are new, that's my wife. That's upstairs, Susie. She communicates with me. She wants me to say hi to some people. I will do that here in a little bit. I was finishing up on my plug for our good friends at First Mint. There's no COMEX. There's no LBMA. That's what they missed, right? This is the freshest silver that you can get straight out of the ground from Mexico. From the mine to the mint to you, but there's no COMEX, no LBMA, no paper funny money that ever goes along with the silver that you get from our friends at First Mint. They do have a discount code, VIPRB. Think very important, Ron's Basement. VIPRB, free shipping on orders over $299. Great company, big honor that they support and that we can be affiliated with such a quality organization. Okay, let's move on here, guys. The tiniest bit of money. I have a question for you. The gold, just so you know, this is in particular true for silver, right? Is a little tiny market relative to the world total financial markets. Even gold is a sliver of what's out there. If we get, this is interesting. Look at this. This is some interesting data that we were supplied. And boom. Again, this came from Metals and Miners. The $143.8 trillion question. What happens when the biggest bubble in history burst? And what they're looking at here, right, is the fact that the global stock markets, the global financial markets have now, it's approaching $150 trillion. And by any measure, we are in a massive bubble in these financial markets. What they say right here, okay, this is the key. The rotation of even a tiny fraction of this capital into the microscopic gold and silver mining space would create wealth-generating event of such epic proportions that it would make the dot-com boom look like a child's birthday party. This is not a prediction. It's a mathematical inevitability. Okay, and now they're talking about that specifically in regard to the gold and silver mining sector. It really is true. But it's true for the physical metals as well. It's an ecosystem. It's gold. It's silver. We could even put platinum and palladium in there. But it's also the mining sector. And guys, it's been a ghost town. Okay. I mean, gold has done very, very well. Silver is just I got to get the trucks out. Silver is just starting to play catch up. I got the trucks. Don't worry, the toys are coming out. But it's such a small market. Doug Casey says that when the money comes in, it'll be like trying to drain Hoover Dam with a garden hose. Let's go quickly because you guys are asking about this. I have an update for you. The 8 largest countries in the world. It's interesting to look at this list, and I have something that I see in it that I want to get your opinion on, but I definitely see in this list. These are the 8 countries with the highest gold reserves. We'll go through quickly. The United States of America, number 1. Number 2, Germany. Number 3, hold on here. Having some tech issues. Hold on here. Italy, France. Are you noticing this? Then Russia, then China, and then Switzerland, and then India. So the world is bifurcated when it comes to gold holdings. Basically, it's the West that right now has the lead for right now. I will emphasize that. But then you've got India, right? China and Russia also in that top 8. And that's why we have this war going on. Interesting how the countries of Europe who went through war and went through some very difficult times, Germany, France, Italy, have huge amounts of gold. But then, like I said, we've got this big shift going on in the world geopolitical power structure. that has China, India, Russia, more Eastern countries also accumulating massive amounts of gold. Okay, I got to ring the gong for you because we have 100 thumbs up, and then I'm going to say hi to some people. Hold on here. Sometimes the tech gets a little funny. I'll tell you when to say hi, but let's ring the gong, guys. 153, Susie says. I'm going to ring the golden gong. Here it is, 3 times. Hopefully you can see me. We have so many people, over 800 people on this live stream. This is incredible. There are more and more of us coming in. Welcome to everybody to the basement. I'm going to ring the gong in 1 second, but I'll ask you to do one thing, and that is hit the subscribe button. It's free, okay? And it's lonely down here without you. So please subscribe. Three rings of the gong. Listen to it resonate. The golden gong. Okay. One of the coolest things in the world about gold and silver is that it is decentralized. It is valuable everywhere in the world. It's been valuable everywhere in the world, and it's been valuable all time through the world, right? Thousands of years, everywhere and all time.
You should also pull up the silver and gold price just one more time.
Okay. I don't know if you guys, thank you, Susie. I don't know if you guys heard that, but Susie's been very active. Everybody say hi to Susie in the chat. Upstairs, Susie. She would like me to say hello to some people, so I'll do that in a second, but she would also like me to pull up the gold and silver price because I've not looked yet today. And let's do that live, and we will go out to CNBC. What? No, that's the other day. Sorry. Hold on here. That's the other day, I think. Yeah, that's the other day. That's got to be the other day. Is that right? No. Hold on, guys. We're pulling up the gold price. Oops, sharing the wrong screen. Here we go. Now we're on the right screen. I think. What? This is gold. What? Gold is up $64 per ounce. Are you kidding me? Can you guys see that? I think you can. Yes, you can. 3,000. This is the December futures contract. Whoa, 3,770. All right, let's go look at silver. Oh my gosh, I'm afraid. Hold on here. And I got to share the right screen, which I'm doing. Okay, guys, let's look at the silver price. No way. Wow. Silver is up $1. Let's refresh this to make sure this is right. Hold on, I got to call Susie and ask her something. Susie, I need you to bring my blood pressure medicine down here immediately. She's like, no, go ahead. Okay, guys, silver's up $1.20 per ounce. Unbelievable. Let me tell you something. You deserve it, okay? And for those of you who are new, welcome to the club, okay? Welcome to the world of silver and gold. Welcome to the world of non-fiat investing. You're welcome here in the basement. But for those of you who've been at this for years, even decades like me, good job, okay? Look, it's not going to be straight up either. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on a big green day, no doubt about it. But don't forget, nothing does go straight up. And what's so cool about what's happened with gold and silver over the last, I'll just pull up the chart here real quickly, guys, because this is critical for us to remember and to understand. What's happened, and the same is true with gold, but we'll do it with the silver chart. And this is mega powerful. Let me make that. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to draw something on here that you can feel really warm and fuzzy about. If we go back 5 years, this is the silver price. This has happened really, you could go all the way back to when? This is 3 years ago. Oh, why is that not working? There we go. 3 years ago, we've had a pretty slow, steady increase. Look, don't forget, look at that, right? Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. That's not going to stop. But what's critical, hold on here. What's critical, I'm going to draw that line again for us to see, is that what we have not seen during this period is this. We didn't see the price go like a spike, right? The silver squeeze, blah, 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 blah. Because every time it shoots up like that, it will always come back down. Again, why we can be super optimistic about that is we have seen this, which I would call, this is a Ron's Basement. This is something us basement dwellers have an exclusivity on. We've not seen a silver squeeze. What we've seen and what we want to continue to see is a silver squeeze, a long, drawn out squeeze, one that isn't a spike up, but instead is a consistent upward trend in the silver price and the gold price, because you deserve it. And I think that's what we're going to have. I'm going to say hi to 10 people. So hop in the comments. Tell me where you're from, and I'll do my best to keep up with this. It's very difficult. We've got almost 800 people now on this live stream. No audio. Uh-oh. Hopefully my audio should be on. Texas. Okay. Rios. Hello, Texas. You can hear me? Susie says she can hear me. Canada. Mark. Hello, Squeeze. Jerry from the UK. United Kingdom. 2 people from the UK. Konraka. Mark from Ontario. Frank Bees from Nebraska. Tiger Martinez from Wyoming. Stephen Brown. Anthony Neal from Ventura, California. I can't read all these. Drake from Alabama. Gene from Munster, Texas. Sweden, Gothenburg. Hello, my friend. South Carolina. India. Hello, Shaquille. Steve Atkinson from Scotland. I have a good friend in Dundee. He runs the soccer team there, the Dark Blues, I think they're called. Manitoba. Jim Green from Long Island. A football team they're called, the Dundee Dark Blues, I think. Anyway, Audi from Hong Kong. New Zealand. Holy moly, Florida. In the United States of America, Kent, Washington, Richard Boland, Jerry from Dundee. Dundee, what? Cake? Yeah, my buddy I grew up with. He's the president of the Dundee Dark Blues, I think they're called. Anyway, Shaquille Shakat. Okay, Paul Lemoyne from Canada. Wow, Tiger Martinez. All right, guys, have a great day. Let's keep it up, okay? You are important. You are the most important part of this community. I appreciate you being here. Please don't forget, give this video a thumbs up, share it, subscribe, all that great stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you on behalf of myself and Susie. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Yep. I didn't end it. We're still here. You know what? For those of you who stuck around. Okay. Did I end it? Nope. The browser. I don't know that it ended.